I are happy to be back in 2023. Today, of course, you will probably be seeing all over social media. People are talking about New Year's resolutions and intentions. And today we thought that that was a perfect topic for us to discuss.
It
Um,
just seems fitting, didn't it?
it sure does. It sure does. So we are excited to be back after a week off. But this is episode 10 of Raw and Unscripted.
Yeah.
And yeah, we're happy to be here with you. And thank you for joining us live. We love for you to share in the comments and so that you can interact with us because that's what we're here for.
Yeah, if you're new to Ron Unscripted, my name's Kim Basler. Kellyanne obviously just spoke to us, and we created this podcast about 10 weeks ago, 9 weeks ago. We started it. Ron Unscripted literally has the two of us coming in here with a topic that we come in and share our wisdom. We are both coaches with similar backgrounds, but different strengths as well. So we always share lots of goodness in this podcast. So if you are finding it for your first time, what we'll do too is drop our YouTube channel underneath this live today, and you can go check out our first 9 episodes. So again, thank you for being here. Thank you, Angelica. Thank you, Tammy. Thank you for tuning in. We get to see who's watching, so please let us know that you're here live with us, or if you're catching it as a replay, let us know that as well. Let us know where you're tuning in from. Both Kellyanne and I are here just outside of Toronto, Ontario. But of course, we do hope that this podcast finds its way around the world and the globe as it continues to move forward. So let's get right on into the conversation. So those of you that are tuning in live, let us know, did you set yourself any intentions or any New Year's resolutions for the year? Before we went live here, Kellyanne and I were chatting about how, I don't know about you, but I definitely find that less and less people are going about the new year the way we used to, like picking out that New Year's resolution that tends to be very, I don't know, it tends to focus on all the things that we're not. We tend to focus on all the things that we think are wrong about who we are, or things that we have to stop doing, or ways that we have to get stricter with ourselves. And we're going to change the shape of that today, hopefully, and get you thinking about things a little differently. But what I'd love to chat about first is both what Kellyanne and I believe when we go into a new year. It's so important that you reflect on last year. Okay. We are coming into a new year, but it's not like we are forgetting everything that we've learned about ourselves, things that we accomplished, things that we were able to survive through in 2022. So take that time. If you're doing this live with us, like think about that for a moment, maybe even do some journaling on that today. Like, what are the things that you are proud of for yourself for accomplishing? Do you like think about your year, Kelly? And let's just talk about us for a moment, because we like to be transparent in this podcast.
Mhm.
Year 2022, like, what are you proud of? What are you reflecting on in terms of how that year went for you?
And Kim, you're so right. Like we forget to celebrate ourselves, and celebrating ourselves is so important. I think at New Year's, you're right, we tend to look back, we look at all the things we're not good at. But for me anyways, it was a great year. I co-authored a book that was published. I started this podcast with you. I've held a live event. I've had lots of clients have great success. There's been just so many things professionally in my business. Also, I also sell real estate, and I got some amazing awards this year for my real estate performance. So it's really been, I have a lot of things to celebrate this year. What about you, Kim?
Yeah, I mean, I've reflected on that. I was actually out with a walk for a walk with somebody yesterday, and my business in 2022, as well as my business doing well, it also gave me opportunity to win some awards, which I think I always learned about that when it comes to business. It's not always about income, which is what so many people think about, right? Like, it's also about what you've learned about yourself. Did I go through some work last year subconsciously, really working on my beliefs and my healing and all of the things that I've had to work through. When we're like, don't Kellyanne and I are very proud of who we are. Don't kid yourself, but we also strive for more in our lives.
Mhm.
And for us to strive for more, it requires us to do our own work, because each one of us, all of us listening right now, we all have our past, and our past often holds us back. That's what we consider, our thoughts and our beliefs around our subconscious. So I had a fantastic 2022, learned a lot about myself. My business grew. I had more fun. I played more. I reestablished friendships with people that I hadn't seen for a while, which means the world to me. It was a good year, but I'm also really excited for fresh starts. And I'm so happy to be doing this podcast with you. This stretches both of us. You and I both talk about this all the time, is taking ourselves out of our comfort boxes, right?
Yeah, I think that's the one thing that I'm probably the most proud of myself for this year is I have stepped out of my comfort zone almost daily. And that is where you're going to find the growth, right? Your growth is not going to be found in your comfort zone. That's what your mind loves, is to stay there. And I think that even though we should be celebrating all of the things that we've done in 2022 and all of the things we're proud of, it's important. And a new year gives you a perfect opportunity to really set some intentions, because we are, let's face it, we are all here to grow. We are not here to stay stagnant. We are living creatures. And just like plants, animals, if you're not growing, you're dying.
Mm.
There is no staying static if you are a living being. So we're all on this growth journey, and setting intentions. I've heard some people say, and I have mixed feelings about this. I've heard some people and I've seen some posts say, you know, why we don't need to do that. You just walk into 2023 just the same way that you walked out of 2022. There's no need to have to work on yourself. And I disagree with that,
Mhm.
because I think the only way that we get better is to look at we've talked about radical responsibility, right, Kim, is to look at ourselves and to say, okay, we have done some great things, but there are even greater things waiting for us. And setting those intentions. And I look at intentions as coming from a place of your values. So, what is it that you value in life? Whether that is family, whether it is your inner peace, whether it's health, and whatever those values are, that's where I set my intentions from. And an intention is unlike, say, setting a goal or setting a resolution where there is a box to check, or there is a goal, there is an end game or an outcome that has to be reached, which can lead us to feeling like failures. I know I set many a resolution years ago, and when I wasn't able to follow through with it, I beat myself up. I
Mhm.
felt like a failure. But when you set an intention, you are moving towards something, and you're allowing life to happen, right? Like you're not forcing yourself. You know what you're moving toward, whether it be the value of, I want to spend more time with my family.
Mhm.
That can be your intention, but you're not saying, and you can do that. You can work on that value and work on that intention. But life happens. If
Mhm.
you can't get together next weekend with your family, that's okay. You don't beat yourself up about it.
Yeah, I fully agree. And I think the thing about we have to think about as well is recognizing that when we have an intention, it can change and morph because it's more broad, right? And as you said, when I wake up in the morning and I'm living with that intention, what are the types of things that can feed that intention? Because then we open and expand the path. If we believe our New Year's resolution has to come by me following these steps, step one, step two, step three, right? We miss out on how the universe wants that intention to live out. The other thing that I read about New Year's resolutions, which I really love because I've been doing a lot of reading about manifestation, is when we, in the past, and many people still do it, say, let's look at a SMART principle. I'm going to do this and I'm going to have it happen by this date. In the manifestation world, we know that if I say it's going to happen by this date, I'm not allowing things to happen at the pace that the universe wants to bring it to us. So if I say something can't happen for I want it to happen 4 months from now, well, maybe it could happen 1 month from now, right? So if I personally love the intention concept. I know a lot of people are picking words. I actually had a word picked. I went out for a walk 2 days ago and felt like that word was the wrong word, and I was leaning to a different word, which I might share. I also saw that you speak about how you want to feel, and I am all about the feeling, because again, we all, I shouldn't say this, but we don't all have a true connection with how we feel. That's step number one. Pay attention to how you feel. But if you know that you're wanting to feel more peace, if you're wanting to feel more joy, if you're wanting to feel more confident, you can then start to do those things that help you move in that direction of feeling. So I hope those of you that are listening are recognizing the ways that you can kick off the year in the ways that feel good for you. I'm going to give you one more thing to say, Kelly. I'm going to pass the mic over to you. I think it's really important. I just want to acknowledge this, that I have seen some people saying that, they're not going to pick a New Year's resolution. They're not going to do anything differently for 2023 right now. And I know the people that have shared it with me is because they're still in a place of, like, they're feeling a bit depleted. They have a lot of things going on in their life right now. Life is feeling pretty challenging. And so maybe for people that have that type of belief right now, and they're just like, you know what, I don't have the energy and the capacity right now to stretch myself, to expand myself. Maybe what Kellyanne and I can suggest is that you're looking for ways to bring a little bit more peace into your life every day, or looking for things that will bring more gratitude or joy into your life. Because if you are feeling depleted on some level, or just feeling like you can't take on more, those things will help restore you. More joy, more peace, more love, more play. So be open to this, because it really does change the way you move into the year.
I agree. And I think that it's important to focus on maybe just one area. Like, sometimes we can get overwhelmed, and I've been there where I wanted to change all these different things. And I think that can be really overwhelming. So I would encourage you to pick maybe one or two areas of your life where you say, okay, this is what I want. What do I want more of in 2023? And I was just, I read it somewhere, and I love this idea. One of the things that I want to feel more of is joy. I spent a lot of years never feeling joy. And joy now is one of my core values. And in so how what I'm going to, and I haven't done it yet. I just got back from vacation, and we were away with friends, so I didn't have a lot of time. Usually I take a good amount of time at the beginning of January to really work on my intentions and all of the things that I want to bring into 2023 and celebrate in 2022. I haven't had a chance to do that, but one of the things that I'm going to do is, because joy is one of my intentions, I am going to make a list of 20 things, big or small, that bring me joy. Because sometimes, as you said, Kim, that feeling that you want to feel more of, you don't know exactly how to get it. But if you can look at at that intention that you set, whether it's peace, whether it's a family relationship, whether it's finances, whatever area it's in, health, what are the things that make you feel that way? What are the things that bring you closer to that intention? Make a list of 20 things. So for joy, one of mine is obviously spending time with my granddaughter, who I love, but also joy for me is having a bath. Like, simple things that, if I can make a list of those things and keep that close to me so that I see it, I can then bring joy into each day. I can, when I'm maybe struggling to feel what I want to feel, I can look at that list and say, okay, maybe I need to go for a walk. Maybe I need to have a bath, whatever it is, to give me that feeling again. So, yeah, that's why I've talked a lot about how do you want to feel. Um, Sometimes it's just, and that's really what our life is about. It's about how do we feel every day. Um, if you're feeling stressed or if you're feeling overwhelmed, you probably want to feel something different. So spend
Mhm.
some time thinking about that. What do you want to feel more of in 2023?
Mm. I love all that. Like, take those words in, everyone, because if you felt like I felt a body feeling with what Kelly just shared with us. So when things make you feel good and your heart's like, yeah, that feels good. I always call it like your internal compass is like, yeah, point me in that direction more. It's telling you something. I often tell people to pay attention to the spaces in life or the people you're around or the energy of the environment that you're in. What feeds you? What lets you just feel in flow and in bliss and you walk away from it feeling charged up, feeling like expanded, as opposed to what do you walk away from, or who are the people in your life that make you feel, ugh, like I feel exhausted. I feel like I just gave the only energy I had to this entire environment. Pay attention to those things, right? Because they tell us which path is our soul is searching for, right? And of course, it's always changing. Um, let's just talk for a brief moment because I think about the start of a new year, and you know what word comes up for me is the word motivation, right? Because so many people want to start doing something, okay, to make their lives better, to improve the quality of their lives in some way. And so often with that requires motivation. And I mean, I won't talk on this for very long, but I just want to highlight something for those of you that are listening right now. Motivation is not something that we always have. We don't always wake up feeling it. Motivation comes first by taking action. We have to take action to do something. And with that, also accountability helps. Because I was thinking about a book club that I'm in right now. And I didn't do a lot of reading in the last few years of my life compared to what I'm doing now. But because I was in a book club and I'm in a book club and I have something that I'm wanting, so I have a desire to do it, I'm taking the action every day to read. Plus, I'm in the book club, which is an accountability place. Now the motivation comes because I'm in the flow of something. And it's just really interesting for me to look at how that happened because I didn't intentionally choose to do this, but now I'm reading either first thing in the morning or reading at night before I go to bed. And I have this desire. So if you're having the desire to start doing some more of something, you have to start by taking action. And action, sometimes comes with a little bit of discomfort because as Kelly and Ann and I have talked about, the path that our brain wants to go on is the path of least resistance. I could choose to surf my phone and look at ideas for Instagram reels, or I could say, no, Kim, put your phone away and open your book. And I have had to say to that to myself over and over and over. And that's how this pattern has changed. So think about that for yourself. And before we went live, I actually also spoke about one of the things that I learned in my NLP certification, my neuro linguistic programming, is that the brain tends to do things a certain way to have an end result. So I'd encourage those of you that are listening, think about something in your past that you accomplished and it has become a pattern for you. It has become a habit for you that you're really, really glad you have because it's made you who you are today. What are the things that made that happen for you that you stuck to it? Because you can take those same steps and apply them to a new pattern, to a new habit. Have you ever heard of habit stacking, Kellyanne?
Yes.
Yeah. Do you want
Yes.
to, just so I'm not hogging the mic today, do you want to
No,
talk? You want to share a
no,
little bit?
no, you talk about, but actually, before we talk about that, I just want to play off some of the things that you said, Kim,
Sure.
because um, I think it is, as you said, our mind wants to keep doing the same thing it's always done. It
Mhm.
is so easy to just keep I call it Groundhog Day, living the same day over and over and over again. And so much, you talked about motivation, and I think a lot of that, sometimes I used to think I didn't have a lot of willpower until I
Mm,
started to understand that it was actually my subconscious mind and the beliefs that I had that were keeping me from doing some of the things that I wanted to do.
mhm,
Um, but the one thing, it's so easy just to keep doing the same thing over and over because it's comfortable, because it's um, even if it doesn't feel great, our mind wants that to keep going. So breaking out, like doing something different, like you said, Kim, doing something different, asking yourself different questions,
mhm,
calling yourself out
mhm,
when you are scrolling on social media. I do it too when you're scrolling. Calling yourself out, being aware that if I'm going to keep doing the same things I've always done, I'm going to keep getting the same results I've always got. So if you want different results, you have to do things different. You
mhm,
have to think different thoughts. You have to feel different feelings. You have to take different actions. And that's where you have to take radical responsibility and say, if I want something different, nobody else can do that for me.
mm,
I It starts with me and it ends with me. And I have the power. When you really think about it, you can be in a totally different place 1 year from now.
yep.
You can have a totally different life. There is, if you open yourself up to that possibility, the magic and the mystery of your life within the next year can be unbelievable.
Mhm,
So I think it's just, it's being open and saying, I am open to something different. I'm open to trying new things. I'm open to really diving into my intentions. But sorry, Kim, you can go back to the habit stacking. Go ahead
yeah,
and
no, and I mean, that's the thing, right? Adding in, there's so many things we want to
I
share with
know.
everyone all the time.
Yeah.
Think about this though. Like I loved when I first read about habit stacking in Atomic Habits, which is a great book. If you want to take a look at that book, habit stacking means that if I want to establish a new habit, I want to stack it, pair it with another habit that I naturally do every single day that I no longer have to think about doing. So, I mean, the things that come to mind is we brush our teeth before we go to bed. We brush our teeth when we wake up in the morning. We make our cup of coffee in the morning. So many, I don't actually do that. That's not a habit for me. But so many people, like whether you take your water with your vitamins, like whatever the thing is that you do every single day, you walk your dog every day, you read your child a bedroom story, you drive to work. Many of us do that every day. I think you get the point. I don't need to give you more examples. So you're now going to pair a new habit. So for instance, I could say that when I drive home from work every night, before I go in the house, I want to get some more movement in. So I'm going to go for a 15-minute walk before I go in the door, you know? And if that requires you to throw a pair of running shoes in your car, then you do that, right? But you're pairing something that you want to start doing with with an established habit. And you make that commitment to yourself. You make that commitment to yourself because, as Kellyanne said, nobody else can do it for you but you. Okay. That being said, that's why people get coaches, right? To
Mhm.
help them with the things that they want to do. But I fully agree. Both Kellyanne and I are continually stretching ourselves and expanding ourselves and doing the things. We're doing the things that we're asking you to do because we know that it will dramatically shift your life in the direction that you want it to go. There is no ceiling. We think that there is a ceiling, but
Mhm.
there is no ceiling. Okay. It's just our belief systems that like to keep us safe. But you can rise, you can achieve more, whatever it is.
Mhm. Yeah, it's interesting that you talk about the coaching. That's why people get coaching, because it's so true. Um, I know for me, anyways, my experience, what I believed was possible for me my coaches blew that out of the water. And whether that's a coach for a sport, for music lessons, whatever it is, or for if it's for your personal development, whatever it is, but somebody who can see in you what you don't see in yourself, or somebody, I often say to my clients, I believe in you, and you can borrow my belief
Mhm.
until you have your own. Because all you need is somebody to believe. And if you are struggling to believe that, if you have set some big intentions for 2023 and you're struggling to believe those right now, maybe you need to hook yourself up with a friend or a coach or somebody who shares that belief or who can see that in you, because we often can't see it in ourselves, but it's there.
Mhm.
It is so there.
And that, again, I'm gonna, like, highlight something that Kellyanne just said, is having people in your network, in your community, in your environment that believe in you. Because if you have, let's say you have this goal to take your hobby, like a lot of people have these little, what they like to call like side hustles, right? Like side little businesses. They're not really technically a business. It's just something that, feeds their extra little extracurriculars. But let's say you have the desire to leave that full-time job that you do not enjoy anymore, and you want to actually take this little hobby and make it bigger and better. You got to have people who believe in you. And this is for anything, like even for people who want to improve their health. If you want to improve your health, whatever that looks like for you, and you have people around you that, I mean, we become the average. I will highlight again, become the average of the five people we spend most of our time with.
Mhm.
And so if you stretch yourself, find new people, they're out there, right? Go and join a walking club, go and join an extracurricular sport, like go where the people are that have what you desire.
Mhm.
Stretch yourself, get uncomfortable. It's okay being the last person to finish the walk for the day. It doesn't matter. You're still out there doing the things that are going to move you towards those intentions and values that you want for your life. But the environment matters, which is probably why both Kellyanne and I always invest in coaches. And we have this beautiful network of people around us because we've put ourselves into the spaces and places that benefit from that.
Yeah. You're the people I've talked to women especially who have asked the question, well, what do I do? I want more, but my spouse doesn't support me, or they don't believe everything that I bring up that I want to do. My spouse doesn't think that's possible for me. And I think that's kind of a common thing, and sometimes it's even your friends.
Mhm.
I mean, I have friends who I don't really share a lot of some of the things that I'm doing because I know they don't really resonate or believe in it.
Mhm.
So that's why being around people and having a group. I had a wine with a couple ladies just before Christmas, and oh, it was so uplifting because these were women actually who are going to speak at my event, that's coming up for me soon, and they share the same ideas, the same goals, some of the same, and it was so refreshing to be around women like that. So make sure that you get yourself into groups, and Facebook allows that. So, and obviously everything online allows that now. So surround yourself with people who are going to help you live out those intentions that you have set for 2023.
Absolutely. I uh I think I accidentally deleted a whole bunch of comments here. We had somebody from YouTube posting inappropriate things on our
Yes.
feed, which we've never experienced before. So
No.
that must mean that we're stretching ourselves and we're getting into new spaces, Kellyanne. But I did not like those comments that were coming up there. So
No.
if
No.
you commented on this feed recently and you want it, we're not acknowledging it because I can't see mine anymore. Maybe you can, Kellyanne.
Yeah, I can see it. So
Okay, that's good. Yeah, so
So,
anyways,
yeah.
these are the fun things. I just had a, sorry, I just got distracted there because I've never had that
I
happen
know,
before.
me too.
Anyways, we are back, but everything that, is recognizing those people, like you said, right? I love that, spending time with people and in sharing these common interests. And even if you don't necessarily understand what somebody else's vision is or what they want, you still support, right? Because that's what friends do for one another, is we support, or we get curious and say, well, why is that important to you? Because that's ultimately what it's about, is having people that want to share your enthusiasm for something. And it creates conversation. I think that's another direction I would love to just take this before we close off today, is the more you talk about what you want to achieve, what you want to desire more for your life, the more conversation you have around that, the more clarity you get. There's so much power in talking, because I've learned this, that when you write about something, your conscious mind, which is our logical mind that tends to overthink things and pose obstacles for us, it tends to show up a lot. But when I'm in free flowing conversation with someone like this, that logical brain doesn't get an opportunity, and my unconscious and my deep desires just flow out of me. So get in conversation with somebody, and that also helps you understand why, which is one of the big things I always talk about when it comes to goal setting or intention setting, is what is the why do you want to do this? Why will this change your life? Why will this better your life in some direction? How will this move you closer? Have those conversations with people. It makes a big difference in helping you gain clarity, and even potentially recognizing any foreseen obstacles that might show up, so you can prepare for those in advance. Like, people have different perspectives and other people have so much to share. So share with those that you feel will benefit you and not hold you back. I think that that's important too, who you share it with.
Exactly. It's very important. And I don't know that I've shared this, but I just want to quickly, this is something that I learned. Maybe I did share this on another podcast, but something that I learned that was so invaluable to me, that there's a difference between advice and counsel. So, did I share this, Kim?
No, but tell me. I'm just
Okay.
nodding my head because I think I know where you're going.
Okay. So, advice is pretty cheap. It can come from anybody with an opinion. And often we take advice from people who we shouldn't. Counsel, on the other hand, comes from people who are doing the things that we want to do. So if you are taking financial advice from your Uncle Bill, who has always been in debt, that's the wrong thing to do. But if you are taking financial advice from somebody who is very set financially, is wise with their money, that is then what I call counsel. So it's somebody who has done what you want to do. And I think that's where the whole idea of coaching comes in,
Mhm.
right, Kim? Is that when you resonate with a coach who is doing the things that you want to do, those are the people that I resonate with. They can offer you amazing counsel, not just advice. So just be careful who you take counsel from.
Yes,
That's
it's
been something that has served me really well in every area of my life.
it's so important, because again, it's either going to keep you where you are or potentially take you in a different direction. I've actually had coaches suggest things to me, and I was in enough clarity that I was like, no, 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 that's actually not the direction that I want to go. So then we could talk about another direction, right? A
Right.
coach, any type of counsel, a coach doesn't tell you how to do things. A
No.
coach asks you questions, because coaching is about bringing out from you what your deepest desires or whatever. It's coming from within you. If you have somebody telling you how to do things, then, then you might want to relook at that. That's one of the things that my clients are always like, oh, so many questions. There's Kim with her questions again.
But the thing is that we know that you have all the answers inside you.
Mhm.
So nobody has to tell you how to live with intention, how to live a happier life, a life full of purpose, and all of the things you're searching for. It's all inside you. We just need to peel back the layers, and asking questions and getting curious is the way that you peel back the layers to uncover, because you are there, that the true essence of who you are, you haven't lost her. She is often just covered with expectations, with programming, all the things. So that's why we ask questions, to start peeling back the layers, because everything you need is inside you.
Absolutely. I'm just commenting to incredible people here.
Oh,
Awesome.
well,
Um, so before we close off, take this opportunity, to share this conversation with people that you feel could benefit. You don't have to do it on your feed, but if you know somebody right now who's needing some extra support and could use today's conversation, share it with them. Share it through them with them privately. We would love for you to do that. Let us know what nugget you took away from today's conversation. And again, this is great, but now it's about you taking action. Sit down
mhm.
with a journal, go out for a walk, and allow yourself to free think. Allow yourself to feel. This is how, if nothing changes, nothing changes. So if you continue to go around on your hamster wheel and just assume that life is going to be the way life is going to be, well, then nothing will change. But you get to do this, and you do it from a place of pure love and curiosity for yourself. When we start New Year's, we want to, any type of new habits or behaviors or desires that you have, you want to move towards them with energy and love. You don't want to move towards them with punishment, right? That punishment never works for anyone. So get really in touch with your why. Get emotional about why you want this for yourself. How will it better your life? How will it better the lives of the people that you spend your time with and that you love? And of course, know that Kellyanne and I are here for you if you need additional support. I'm going to just take a moment, Kellyanne, and you can as well. I just want to talk about my Food Freedom Foundation space that has a brand new look and feel. So for those of you that are new to me, I support women in many, many ways. And one of those ways is helping them with their relationships with food. So helping them move past some of the dieting behavior that maybe they struggling with, emotional eating, binge eating, body awareness, being able to have a healthier relationship with food. So that space is an ongoing space with lots of wonderful content support from me. So if you have any questions about that, or someone who could benefit from it, please reach out to me, and I'd love to share. My website's kimbasler.com, and you can head on over there and learn a little bit more about me. Thank you for today's time.
And I just want to mention that I have my live event coming up called Evolution, January 14th. But I've also have just put out a program called Radiance, and this program is about uncovering, like I talked about, that true essence of you, of who you are, uncovering that so you can shine your light. And when you are able to shine your light and live in that space, you are then able to attract amazing things to you. You become magnetic. So I do a lot of work around the law of attraction and uncovering, replacing subconscious beliefs that no longer serve you. And so this Radiance program is going to be a group program that is going to change lives. I am so excited about it. So you can follow me on, I don't have a website yet, but I do have obviously Facebook and my Instagram, and you can find all the information there on that program.
Yeah, so good.
So
We thank you all for tuning in. We are live every single Tuesday at 9:30 a.m. Eastern. All of our past episodes are on our YouTube channel, Raw and Unscripted. Thank you, everyone who is here commenting, supporting one another. We will come into the comments afterwards. And please, if you're not following Kellyanne, please do that. And then likewise, if you're one of Kellyanne's friends, come on over, follow me if you like what I have to share. We hope you have an amazing Tuesday. I don't even know what day of the week it is. It is January the 3rd. We are 3 days in, and you're rocking it, my friends. You're rocking it.
And we will see you next week. Have an amazing week. And maybe next week you can share some of the intentions that you have set, or maybe some of the work that you've done, because we want this to be something that um, you want to come back to every week and share. This is a beautiful community that we are establishing here, and we are so excited about that. So have a great week, everybody.
Bye, everyone. Take care.